Oh, I love these questions. But what we say here in the Midwest is I'm going to go to Canada by way of Mexico, or at least I say it, to answer this question. So it might be a little long, but I hope it's worth it. So there are two groups of people that I'll get in trouble with if I call them out here. The first one is the white woman who is deconstructing or decolonizing or trying to, or thinks she's taken it so far, then she's ready to start amplifying her voice, which is great. But we never stop deconstructing. We never stop decolonizing. I am on this platform every day taking notes. I am listening to Black creators. I am listening to Black voices, Indigenous voices, and people of color. We never stop. But if we haven't completely deconstructed or decolonized, we plant our feet and think that we're done. And then we are amplifying our voices in a way that tend to center us. So then, and that comes from that white savior complex that's part of our indoctrination. But oftentimes we don't see it until it's called out. So if I call out somebody who has said something or done something that's problematic, wow, and they say, hey, I'm a good person. They equate the fact that you're calling out problematic behavior with them being a good person. And again, that's part of our indoctrination. They also they take offense to someone of their same identity as calling them out, and they don't feel like they deserve it. So you can go down that rabbit hole to the video I have tagged, because you can see it got nasty. I had people really coming after me in my DMs and in the comments saying that I was cruel, and I didn't say anything. To be cruel means I am insulting your character, your physical attributes. I didn't do any of that. I stayed focused on what happened and said why it was problematic. But boy, it turned ugly quickly. And I had to block a lot of people. The other group of people that often I'll have problems with are boomers, of which I'm one. But if I say something about problematic boomer behavior, I will have people come at me and say, I'm sick and tired of you calling out boomers. We are the ones who protested the Vietnam War. We are the ones who advocated for equal rights. Yeah, well, you're also the one who protects the white savior narrative. You're also the one who makes sure that you look like the hero. So there's still more work that we have to do. And the fact that you're in here protecting yourself with these kinds of comments, they need to see that also is protecting a patriarchal structure that puts them just a couple of rings up from the people that have been historically oppressed. That's a hard thing to deconstruct from. That's why I like to say I haven't deconstructed, I'm deconstructing, I'm decolonizing. Because as a child of the 60s, from strong patriarchal structures in my family, my education, my religion, there's still going to be pockets that show up. So I'm here almost every day listening to Black creators, Indigenous creators, and people of color. Tell me how. Where are those things hiding? So the best thing to do is, first of all, is make sure you're keeping an open mind. And then just ask yourself that question. Where do I get offensive? Where am I still holding on to a narrative that I am the gatekeeper of how someone else shows up in the world? And if that's not clear to you, then ask for people to be your accountability partner, or just make sure that you're paying attention to how other white people are being called out. And then you take that mirror and look at yourself and say, is this something I'm holding on to? Is this something that I'm doing? Like, oh my God, I just thought that the other day, and then I did XYZ. We have those tendencies in us. It's because it was how we were raised. It was how we were taught. Holding on to them is the problem. Letting them go is how we learn, how we continue to deconstruct and decolonize. Holding on to those means that we're comfortable with the patriarchal structure and we want some element of power. That therein lies the problem with white people who refuse to look at how they're still holding on to the narrative that puts them a couple of rungs up on the patriarchal structure. I hope this helps. Okay, we're on our way to Canada.